Yo? What's going on? Okay. Okay. Hello. Welcome one and all. Welcome to my stream. I am Paladin Ashe, here to stream for you again. And today we're continuing on again with, well, Satisfactory, because I've been enjoying the shit out of this to the point that I've got another off-stream world. And it only took me about 2 evenings to get up to where I am about now, right now. Which means that I've found the more efficient place to work is probably on the east side of the grasslands, where there is some decently placed, normal quality iron and copper nodes. But that's all to the good. I'm going to get into it, because when last we left off, I was about to, start onlining coal power. So let's get into that. Okay. Got 3. I've got the bean in the way, but it's not that big of an issue. I had a momentary concern that I was not on the right file, but I am on the right file. Where? From whence? I thought I killed you people. Okay. Okay, so it consumes 45 a minute. Wait, no. Fluids storage. Okay. So how much does... Whatever. That's the problem with these machines, is that you have to go in blind. Yeah, give me a moment. Steam, why are you still fucking, or Discord, why are you still fucking doing that? I have streamer mode engaged. I don't want to be hearing that. Fine. Okay. So these generate enough lift for 10 feet. Yeah. Logistics. No. Power specials, not special. Here you are. Okay, so their head lift is 10 meters, which means that I may need... Yeah, I'm going to need a head lift pump. But they move 120 per minute. Go away! Oh my god. These things are colossally in the way. The spawns are actually quite annoying, but they're cute, so I don't hate on them too much.
Fix-it pipelines can contain any fluid, including the water necessary for coal-powered generators. Note: Water does not flow upwards by itself. While water extractors provide some lift, to truly defy gravity, consider the use of pipeline pumps.
Let's slap a fucking pipeline lift pump on there. How much are you gonna give me? You give me 20. Let's slap one on each pipe. Let's put one of these here. That song, why is that song playing so quickly? It's a 5-minute song. I'm gonna mute that. You can't hear it, but I've got a fucking song in the background. Hey, pal! How goes? Let's put one. All right, I need to start using the Doom at some point. The awesome sink, as they call it. Because right now, it's in a frustrating position. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna redo those. Still adjusting to recording for a vid. Okay, there we go. Okay. Pipe. Net. This is gonna be way sloppy. Very sloppy. Whatever, so long as it works. Yeah, but that stuff is expensive, like mad expensive. Like Millie's got a bunch of stuff for recording. But even like she fully acknowledges that stuff is like mad expensive. It's useful for setting up stuff, but still. All right, I'm gonna have to start setting up. Okay, that's reasonably clean. I can live with that. I can live with that. That I can't really live with, but I don't really have a choice. I could alter it again, but I don't wanna. Okay, you, pipe. You're coming in. Okay, I can live with that. Let's see how that goes. I'm probably not even going to need to justifiably have it set up like that. This is to ensure that enough water is going up to these points. Oh, I'm gonna run out of foil. That's some bullshit. But before I panic, do I even need the 3? Water's a lot easier to work with. Like, by a significant amount. At least until a certain point. All right. I'm going to need 3? 3 biofuels? Temporarily. Crafting bench. Each of those produces 30 each. I'm going to need, at a minimum, 83, so... And it's going to be a bit before the power truly kicks in. So I need a reasonable amount split between the 3. Probably overkill. Took out, like, a fair chunk of natural rainforest. But who cares? What did the rainforest ever do for us? Some rigorous gameplay. Fuck it, I'm not making all of that into biofuel. Okay. Each of these produces about 120 per minute. So those two actually should be more than enough. At this juncture, it pays to be aware of what does what, but you don't need to sweat it too terribly much. Is the water reaching? That's kind of weak, so let's stretch another pump over here. And we are getting power. I'm not satisfied with the amount of water that is going through that, though. It might balance out after a moment. Yeah, it's full up. Yeah, I'm not completely satisfied with that. So I am going to get more foil. As it is, I'm kind of being an idiot here. I made that entire conveyor system based off of the Mark 1 conveyor belts. And those only carry a max of 60. 15 per minute. I mean, it doesn't really matter. At this point, I can get away with just using the Mark 1s for, like, stuff that doesn't require a whole lot. But each of these puts out 60 each. Man, I actually could get away with, let's see, 60 each. 15. Got 3 that put out 60. I can, in theory, justify 12 total machines. So if I make 4 over here, it wouldn't hurt anything. I'd have to completely redo all the stuff at the base, but still, I need to go up the mountain and resupply my foil anyways, so. And if everything should depower in my absence over there, then that's not really that big of a deal, because literally last night while Bo was showing off the Mouth of Madness and Event Horizon to everybody, I was getting stuff online in like my own like side map, and it was vastly more efficient than I've been in this. Part of that is because I wasn't having to balance so many machines just to like do so much. Because I found that on the eastern side of the grasslands, there's some normal quality iron and copper. What that basically means is that if you're using an impure node with like a basic Mark 1 extractor, you'll only get 30 resources per minute. But if you're using a Mark 1 on a normal, you'll get 60. So one normal node is as good as 2. But you don't have to have as many machines. You don't need to field as much power. It's just overall more efficient. Now, it's not crazy relevant if it's not super relevant materials. Like, Caterium isn't really that heavily used outside of some niche stuff later on. But right now, I have no use for it. It's very much used in the electrical side of things. Like the Caterium tree is what you want to invest in heavily if you want to ensure that you've got a lot of your your power grid set up. Also, if you've ever wondered why I'm constantly kind of bunny hopping like so, blame Psyche for that. He told me that apparently, this sort of like it's common in most games. You kind of slightly market garden, which is to say, fling yourself forward, so it increases your momentum speed, makes it easier to get across distances faster. Costs you nothing to do it, so you're just kind of tapping a key. I'm gonna buy that. You know what? It's bothering me enough. One sec. now that I'm obsessing about it. Grabbing those real quick, because why wouldn't I? Good thing I came back when I did. Actual fact, boom. Deliberately offlining this stuff right now. Where are my pipes?
Milestone reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
Thanks for that, Ada.
The remains researched belong to an organism that tends to nest near objects emitting specific types of resonance. Spitters are called as such due to their ability to create and spit plasma across long distances. Spitter remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration.
Alien protein? You have my interest.
This mushroom, dubbed bacon agaric due to its uncanny resemblance to raw bacon, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available.
Okay, I'm definitely taking this. This overclock is the ability to tweak your machines. If you've got power cells, you can overclock them. Or, alternatively, underclock them without.
Overclocking development completed. Power shards can now be inserted into all buildings to increase input and output speed. Underclocking is also possible. Note: power consumption of overclocked buildings increases exponentially.
Yeah, it's the one downside. An overclocked building can be expensive. Okay, so the bars I'm going to... I'm going to feed them into the awesome sink because I don't really need the bars. Awesome sink special. The awesome sink's kind of a hilarious thing because you're literally just dumping resources, but it's mad efficient or mad useful. There are my bars, my rods. I should be able to set up over here now. Sky whale. Eh. Now there's two concretes over here that are impure quality, which is not ideal, but I seem to remember there being a concrete this way some distance and up a hill. It's also a pure concrete somewhere is up towards the water area. Neither are really necessarily bad ideas. Well, it's a normal one. need to stray outside my comfort zone, which is to say not to repeat like patterns that were formed when I was just learning. Do that now. If I can get close to it without dying. That's not it. Caught you slacking! Okay, this is the precarious part. These are dangerous. Oh. Look, those things will fuck you up if they catch you. Anything, any bit of leeway I can catch on them is a win for me. Oh shit. Fuck that thing. Where's that coming from? Fuck you. These things really don't want me to pull this off. I'm being kind of rough with this, but kind of difficult to do what I'm doing. See, down there is what's known as SAM material. SAM material is basically the necessary material for making shit like your portable storage in this game. So it's agonizingly valuable. Where's the big spider down here? Where's the big spider? I don't want to deal with it, but I do gotta have to. Kind of cheating, but so much better than when I did this originally. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh.
Live, laugh, consume.
Yeah, suck on it. Suck on it.
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. Initial data suggests these are predators, but notably they do not have a traditional mouth or eyes. There are, however, numerous cavities on their head which could fulfill a similar function. Research the remains in the map to establish classification and potential countermeasures.
Working on it, bitch. I didn't expect to fall like that. I didn't. But it all worked out in the end. I killed the spider because it got trapped up there with me. Production, minor, cry. I do appreciate that fall distance is not cripplingly restricted. May as well make this shit and make it into plates just in case I fucking need them. I really need to go to the bathroom while I'm doing this, so I will be right back after I've gotten the... Actually, you know what? I'm going to set the plates to cook. Be right back. Okay. What did I need to do? Right. Needed to make... Hey, EA! Production, minor. I hate these things. Yep. I am down in a crevice in the grasslands where we got a STAM site. STAM is a crucial material for alien tech, and alien tech includes my portable storage or pocket storage or what have you. Basically both. Leave me alone. I hate these things. I have no ability to kill them at this level because they produce like a gas. And also because, well, in general, I don't have any explosives, which is the only way you can kill them. Foundations. And up. And up. And up. Clip into, there we go. One sec. Leave that. This one. And thank you, Nightbot. You're a peach. Looks like it's properly deleted message on the Steam end or the Twitch end. Nope. There are some things you can destroy in this world. The rock, like bedrock of the world, no, you can't destroy that. Unless it's like an obviously crackled, destructible rock like you'd see in any video game where it's like got the broken bits in it and it's like, hey, explode me. But you won't gain the ability to explode it for like 50 in-game hours. Ah. Now, where is... There it is. Logistics. Actually, that's a bad possession. Is that far enough above? No, that's way too high. Let's see if I can't. Yeah, that's good. Do I care that it goes through the ground? No, I do not. That is all set up. You get everything back when you scrap something. There is stuff for helping with falls, but you never really achieve a point where you take no damage from a hefty fall. And it does get progressively worse the more the greater the fall. That said, you gain jetpacks, and depending on what you're fueling it with, the jetpack can either just be pretty decent for getting you over things or can send you near to the moon. Ooh. Sippy. Which is why you want turbo fuel as soon as you bloody well can. Speaking from experience, like, I lagged on a bunch of things purely because I was like, oh, I won't need that. Oh, I won't need that. Oh, I absolutely wanted it, though. Fuck off. Rude bitch. Okay. I'm beginning the processes of moving my shit over. The coal power is up and running, but it's currently in its, like, test stage, so I haven't connected it to everything yet, and I was like, I may as well, while I'm getting foil for more piping, you know, set up my more ideal, like, grow out location. What do you mean? Portable miner, portable miner, portable miner. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going over there and I'm breaking down my miners. I could make new ones, but you know what? Fuck it. Frustration. Shit. Ugh. Excuse me. Got back from my sewing class today and had the most irritated eyes possible, and I'm not even sure why. I had to, like, rinse them a bit before getting on stream. I don't need pocket coal. Alas, since I'm the only one saying something, I guess I agree with myself. That feels a little bit narcissistic, though. Right. Let's see. Logistics, murder. What do you fucking mean? Fuck you. Clean that out for a moment. while I break those down. And those down. Can't wait for sorting sorting logistics. Those are a thing you get much later. Not supremely later, but at least a couple of phases later. And they allow you to set up logi splitters that either specifically, target certain resources, or they will or they can also be set up to just have like a very generic shit of this type or that goes to the left or right. They take a bit of finagling to get down pat, but they're absolutely worth it. Yep. They're all converging at that point and feeding into here. And this is me just getting rid of some like semi-refined resources. This right here is called an awesome sink. When powered, it will basically absorb any materials you shove into it and generate points relative to more or less like a rising curve. So basically, like, initially it's real cheap to get these little coupon things, which I can take to the awesome shop and get certain things. Pretty much all like accessory stuff, like a panel in the floor that's specifically for the lifter units under logistics. These things. So like you can get a special little cutout panel in the floor that these will slot into real nicely and actually just like snap into. Or you can get different types of wall, or like roofing, etc. Just to make things look kind of nice and spiffy, which I have done before. Not real like intricately, but I have set up big block, fabs before. Okay, these are all starting to clean up. But anyways, as he said, it's cheap at first, but expensive later on. Certain things generate more points, but in general, you're going to use awesome sinks. I think maybe you remember last stream, I mentioned how, or the stream before, how like, once you get into like fluid dynamics, stuff like oil, everything has like a secondary byproduct you have to factor in. And that is where awesome sinks come in handy. Because you can just feel like, I may or may not use this resource, but I'm just going to shove it into the awesome sink until I've got a use for it. Or you can use the awesome sink as an off shunt for like, stuff like stacking up too much. Yeah. Unfortunately, in the case of fluid products, to get rid of that shit is a whole process unto itself, and the awesome sink does not take fluids. You have to bottle up fluids or put them into canisters, which is a thing you can do, but it's a whole intermediary step. But once upon a time, I basically like set up a whole like cycle thing where I'd bring in tanks of like fuel and power a plant in this area. Just like worth noting, the grasslands has no oil in it at all. Like, not even a little bit. Oil appears in very specific other areas. I can't bring up the map yet because that's a whole, like, tech I have to get. But they appear in, I want to say, the beaches. They appear in, I don't think the northern forest region, but there is, like, a beach area to, like, the northeast. That's more of, like, an endgame area. Game's the wrong term, but it's not a place you really go to from the start, especially because it can be a bit precarious. It's not the most dangerous, but it can be. The most dangerous is the swamps. Do not go to the swamps unprepared. They have venomous spiders all over the place, and those things suck. But, you know, where was I? You know, like, oil appears in those places. I think it appears in the deserts a bit. Not a whole lot, but it does appear there. Yeah, it unfortunately has some pretty decent stuff in it. Like, I want to say the swamps are where the more potent geothermal vents are. Because, like, much as anything else in this game, the resource, supply wells come in, like, a impure, normal, pure version. And the pure ones generate a lot more power than, like, the impure one. As it is, you don't want to rely too much on geothermal. Geothermal generates a lot of power. That is, like, it is nothing to sneeze at. But it's power that exists in a variable state. Like, it functions kind of like a geyser, constantly, like, building up pressure and then letting it off and then, like, dipping down. But, like, it never really dips down to nothing. It's just, it doesn't maintain a steady curve. But if you have a lot of it, you can actually power a lot of stuff, especially if it's rounded out by other things. Okay. I didn't mean to do that, but whatever. But yeah, like, there's no oil in this area. So if you want to, like, bring oil over to this area, for any purpose whatsoever, I don't really recommend it. Not because it's a bad idea, but because, like, it's just, like, a whole extra stage of nonsense. That said, if you want to do that because it's fun, go ahead. You know, like, you'll have to have, like, a canister for it. But once you've, like, unpacked that fuel into whatever purpose it's being used for, which, again, is a whole stage unto itself. You have a packing and unpacking stage, which is done with the same machine. The canisters, they don't just disappear. They're not used up. They go somewheres. And they do fill up. So I basically was like, okay, I'm going to refine this fuel and then send, like, the canisters off to be filled with water and then, like, sent into the awesome sink because that generates more power than just stuffing the canisters into the awesome sink. It's honestly a little bit silly, but it is what it is. Yeah. And this is the entry stage. It gets way complicated when you're, like, talking, like, the end game materials for your projects. Yeah. Though you don't necessarily need specifically a spreadsheet. There's lots of third-party programs and a website dedicated to this sort of thing, which allows you to have like more of a handle of what you're building. But, you know, a spreadsheet gives you the raw numbers. Okay, so I'm not going to be needing this anymore. Needs power. Dismantled crate. Where is this? Okay. Right. I needed copper foil sheets anyways. 2. I mean, whatever. That's just doing what it needs to do. Wow. Let's make more foil plates. Okay. More than enough. Well, I got a reason to run power over here. Because there's a hard drive over in this direction. Hard drives are the gotcha system, after all. Exactly. Can't wait until I start upgrading my power grid systems. One of the boons of that is that these start being able to carry more wires. Free early resources.
Damaged hard drive successfully acquired. All pioneers are contractually obliged to preserve and secure any recovered hard drives for analysis in the MAM, which may result in benefits to the Fix-It mission. Speculation as to why there are crashed freighters in your Fix-It designated zone is discouraged as specified in your contract.
Okay. See. This currently spits out 60. I know that each smelter can produce 30 and consume 30. Logistics. Splitter. Copper. Copper. Merger. I don't fancy using that just yet to too terribly great a much because my stitched plates are precious. Okay, so those are 60 bars. Production, construction. $20 per minute. Go away. Rude. Like, immensely rude. You have no idea. Okay, so copper sheets, electronic compounds, 60, 15, 30. If I were to slap one of these in here, $30 per minute. Okay, so. So. And that would jack up its power how much? Doesn't seem to have changed it much. But then again, I can't tell while it's on the fly. But yeah, so 15 per minute. Or alternatively, right now, I'm trying to round out the amount of wire to cabling so I can place down 3 of these machines. Or, yeah, 3 of these machines, 2 wires, and 1 copper foil, and feed one of them. Feed one of them into another, or feed 2 of them, actually. That generates 30 per minute. That consumes 60 per minute. Possible, but I might want to dedicate. Nah, I need the wire more. The cable is extremely useful for laying stuff about, but you find that it does not enter into many like recipes down the line. Okay. Okay, logistics. Splitero. Okay, so wire, oil, overclocked. This is all going to change once I start unlocking the Mark II and III miners, so. Since I just need the wire for now, let's just store this shit. Oh yeah, that was something I remember looking into out of curiosity, and I want to say there are mods to make it possible to do that, as there are with anything. There are, in fact, quite a few mods for this game. It is a rather robust modding community, but somebody asked the developers directly, "Do you have any intentions of making like maintenance and upkeep a thing?" And the thing is, you already kind of do that with like maintaining the flow of your processes. And they very specifically were like, we don't want to make it more annoying than it actually could be. Especially because like you build a lot of machines, like I mean a lot of machines. You know, like the fabs I was making, I thought were pretty big, and then I was like, oh, these people are like making fabs that churn out like 1 billion resources in one go. What's that look like? Yeah, and that's like even factoring in things like conveyor belts are one way of moving things about the map. There's also cars, which cost power, but they're also somewhat unreliable. They're unreliable because stuff can get in the way of them, but also you have to set up their routes, and honestly, I found it too frustrating to work with. But then there are trains. And trains are a really good way of rapidly transiting things around, but you gotta set up the rails. And the rails gotta be set up just so. And they do have transit time. Transit time is an influence upon your like your efficiency. Like I mentioned, like a fab that I have in like one of my other maps, and it basically has like the infrastructure ready to use the proceeds from a purple oil factory to produce, among other things, black powder, turbo fuel, and I think cloth was in there. No, that was the oil fields. What else was I making? I was basically making all the resources necessary to make bombs. Okay, turbo fuel. Okay, so there is crude oil. There is I forget their names. So I will give you the color code. There's black, which refines into either purple or orange. If you go straight to orange, you're sacrificing the byproducts of purple, which generates plastic or resin as a side material that can be refined into plastic. Purple and or orange can then be refined into red, which is known as turbo fuel. Now, turbo fuel is really good for powering your jetpacks and your plants because it tends to be more efficient than all the rest, but it requires some steps. If memory serves, you need coal or a special offshoot version of coal that is made by combining coal with, I think, purple oil. I actually, let me see if I can't, nah, that would take too much time for me to ask the thing to spit out the, how's this bouncing like that? Why is it bouncing like that? Yeah, it is complicated. You eventually get like a feel for it, but it is absolutely complicated. Are you bouncing? No, you are churning at exactly the speed you should be. Oh yeah, that evened out. That evened out real nice. I had a bad case of the autisms. The electrical autisms. But yeah. And the funny part is I never really broke into like the field of like nuclear power. Like I was amping up to do so. But everything always requires significantly more of this and that. And also nuclear power is kind of a bitch to find locations for. Like they're out there. They are. But they're annoying to find. And then there's also like... Right, now I remember. Turbo fuel requires a little bit more than just what I described. It also requires nitrogen. And nitrogen's a whole pain in the ass because a lot of the locations for getting it are not easy to reach. Like... Quite literally, the nitrogen node I was using was up on a mesa far into the mountains to the north. And one of your ways of transiting resources around is to just have it flown in Amazon style. Like, you can basically get, like, little, like, drones to carry stuff for you. But setting that up is also finicky as all hell. It's kind of slightly quantumly entangled in its nature. I'm bouncing around kind of like aimlessly. It's quantumly entangled in its nature almost because each given location is strictly kind of like a point-to-point thing in terms of like the drone you send out from it. You can't do complicated routes. So to do any sort of like a route of any sort of like process, it's more like you have to like pay it forward. So let's say you want nitrogen to be like transported all over the place, but you need to fuel the nitrogen depot to harvest the nitrogen with like canisters because that's how you get the nitrogen in other places, is that you stuff it in a canister and then like ship it elsewhere. And then it's unpackaged in that elsewhere and, and put into like a pipe structure specifically for it. And the way you would do that is you'd have one drone set up, like, one drone depot set up specifically to transit the canister. And yeah, like steps on steps on steps. Like you would have one drone that deposits the canisters. It may well have the authority to take some of the nitrogen with itself, but everything else that you want to get nitrogen goes to the nitrogen depot and takes only the nitrogen. I had such a pill trying to sort this out logically in my head and kept sending canisters to random places that they did not need to go. And unfortunately that shit gets really annoying real quick. Okay. Now one of the... Right. I'm going to put down miner. Now you'll generate 60 per minute. I am going to place down this smelter. I'm going to put another beside it. I'm going to put splitter. Iron. Iron plate. I make these rods. A little bit cramped. I put in one of these. Nope. These produce 15 and 15. So if I place a logi block here. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna need to. Okay, so that's 15 and 15. Constructor. Worth noting that this too will probably be temporary, but it's less temporary than the stuff that was over by the practice. So. Okay, so these are all rods. These are all rods. And these can be screws. These will generate 120. And that would be the Factorio experience you're describing. Which I own but have never played. My buddy Peter got it for me for Christmas, and I think I got him Satisfactory. It's basically like getting different like flavors of the same autism. But what flavor is it? Boot to the head. Only sloppy because of that. Okay, organization, let's there we go. This is starting to look like my original fucking setup before I tore it all down in the previous, playthrough of this game. Capacity is currently max consumption 37. Why is that? Oh, blue means overclocked. One thing that's useful in this game is that you can actually tell a bit of, because like diagnosing a problem, you know, you mentioned maintenance earlier. Diagnosis of a problem comes in heavily. Like, if a system's getting backed up, You have to figure out why it's getting backed up and from whence the issue is arising. If a system is not being fueled enough, you need to figure that out too. It's why Logi floors wound up being super useful, because you could do all your ugly spaghettiing in those fucking rooms. Purely because the system chooses not to work despite being beautifully and perfectly put together. If you can tell that I have run into this problem on more than one occasion, yo, yeah, it's not exactly lacking in obviousness. Okay, so 60, 30, 30, 15, 15. 4 rods machines over here. Splitter. 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 I need iron plates. Ruse. Why did Discord chink at me? Oh, wouldn't it be nice if like the Discord devs actually put some effort into this shit? Like, that sort of shit actually kind of like, when it happens rapid fire, I start to get like anxious as all hell. It's always been a case with me where like rapid fire notifications like stress me the fuck out. Same. I placed this too close. No. No. Okay, this shit's in the way. I need biofuel soon anyways. Okay, I can... First and foremost, that's too many on that spot. Go away. I can salvage this. There we go. There we go. Net connected fridges. Ah, yes, those. I don't get the appeal. I really don't. Like, sincerely, what is the bloody point? Like, don't get me wrong, there's certainly a level of tech bro out there who thinks that they're like being chic by having a bit of everything. But you really don't need a bit of everything. Sometimes you just need what's like efficient and what works. Don't get me wrong, a little bit of smart technology is neat. Like I've got like stuff for like some of the light switches in my house so I can run scheduling for my shit. Plus I have a tendency to just forget stuff at night. And oftentimes when I'm getting off my computer, the idea of going up and down the stairs to sort out what needs to be turned off and on is stupid. But fucking like, if you have something in your house that is smart technology and completely removes your ability to like interact with it without an app, then that is not smartly designed smart technology. Let's see, okay, that's running over there, that's running over there. These are all going to be rods. Okay, so that's one of those concerns that doesn't really click with me because while there are certainly hackers who have nothing better to do with their time and are pricks, you know, how many of such exist in your general vicinity? Connected, connected. Ah. Let's fucking power it all up and drive my system into the ground. Ah, my capacity just went the fuck up. I mean, yeah, more over time, but sincerely, who's looking into your fucking house and deciding to fuck with your heating and why? Like, it borders on paranoia. Okay. I think now is the time I should go back to the coal plant and set that up proper. I'll run the line down from in this area. And that's the pure limestone there. Honestly, that's not so far away. I should probably tap into that before I tap into anything else. The summer slop. Can't find you, and it's dark, and you're a bitch. Fuck you. That was pathetic. Not even going to deny that that was really pathetic of that thing. It flew off a ledge and was stunned to all hell and gone.
The effigy has no song, only echoes, but it is part of a river. Why does the effigy avoid the windows?
Attention. Your brain's operations are outside typical parameters. Time spent daydreaming will be deducted from your sustenance budget.
Okay, so I've got all of these generate these generate 60 per minute. I have 3 that consume 15, 6, 12, 18. Okay, so did I ever build a construction thing here? I did not. Crap. While I'm fucking with that, let's get that hard drive out of my inventory. Okay. Let me under. I should go over and turn off those biofuel reactors, which no longer have a need. Well, don't for now. Notice how they react. Disconnected from anything to power, they proceed to no longer consume fuel. Super convenient. I am in a depression? I wouldn't call this a caldera. It's certainly not a volcanic region. This isn't basically like the mountains region, and it's basically just like a big valley area with a lake in the middle and a bunch of coal, and therefore the perfect place to set up, coal power. I'm going to redo the pipes and all the conveyors. The coast is a little bit more overt. Funny how we started this off with me about to turn on power, and here I am basically completely redoing it. After, like, nearly 2.5 hours of me fapping about doing other stuff. I do not need this shit in my inventory. All right. So I can manage about 12 of these things. Yeah, this game really tickles a mixture of my autism and ADHD. The Now, if each of these takes 15 per minute and consumes 45 cubic meters of water per minute, and 2 over there generate that, the 12 times 45 divided by 120. I need 4.5 water suppliers and 2 prominent pipelines. So I've got the 2 over there. Would you go away? You are so thoroughly in the way. Like, I don't want to be mean, but these things do block me from putting stuff down. Ugh. Like, seriously. I can't put anything there because that thing's literally in the way. There's my 4th. And there's my 1.5. Yeah. They do got some whale vibes. Hmm. $180. Yeah, okay. And this will pump out exactly 300 from here. I call them beans because I want to say that's actually their official name. You get a achievement for, I think, jumping on them. Oh, actually, no. They're called Space Giraffe. Oh, no, wait, no, it says The achievement is we, and it is phrased: bounce on a space giraffe tick penguin thing. Yeah, okay, that fits. I guess. I mean, they got the colorings of a penguin, the gargantuan size of a giraffe, though the length is in their legs and not in their neck. They've kind of got the fat body of a tick, but they do got a bird-like face. There we go. Right. Those are head lift pumps, by the way. And that's a lizard doggo. They're kind of dumb, but you can feed them berries if you approach them in the right way. But, like, I'm not bothering with it right now. I suppose. They do got a whale sound to them. Okay, so let's see. And that's why I don't like the Mark II conveyor belts. It's heinous bullshit that, like, it costs so much just to get them going with a stitched plate. Let's see. Power. Full. Two, three, four, five. In the way again. Six. Okay. Now these are normals, which means these are churning out the max for the Mark 1. I'm trying to imagine how this will go. But with the conveyor belts when I don't have... So tempted to just... Maybe I can make enough stitched plates to make this work. The most annoying part about it is that once you start getting into coal, like cold steel and whatnot, the return on investment of time and resource has such a much larger, like, benefit. Like, to make a singular conveyor belt Mark III requires not very much steel girder. The thing is, you barely need the screws for, like, necessary shit past a certain point. Like, there's a bunch of recipes that just say, hey, you don't need screws for this anymore. And I fucking love them because they simplify the shit out of the whole process. Anything that removes a machine is, like, a simplification to me. Which is why it's weird sometimes when, like, you know, the things that will be like, you want to make this? Well, here's their suggestion, and then they'll, like, throw in fucking screw the thing you gotta make. There we go. Let's see what we can do. Let's see. Doing okay, Kruger 80. How about you? Let's see. Let's put down a merger. Cool. Splitter, about 3 deep. That is supposed to be a split. These are both mergers. Okay, there we go. Okay. Logistics. That's good to hear, Kruger 80. Splitter again. This time with standard Mark 1s. I have to go back to camp. Oh. The agony. Can I get the thing in here? I did not.
The effigies ripples through our temples, our veins nearly touch. He is shy, notes shall be taken and played.
From a certain perspective, your brain looks like it is processing language, but there is no auditory data. If you are hearing voices that are not mine, this is no cause for concern. It is a common side effect of extreme pressure and stress.
Yep. Technically, at the beginning of the stream, I got it started up, but I was like, I've got enough supplies to generate more than what I'm making, because I always kind of just undersell what I can do, and I'm more than capable of, like, making enough stitched plating to just convert entirely to Mark IIs, but I kind of hate the Mark II conveyor belt. Stitched, or not stitched, reinforced plating. I keep listing it by the name of an alternative recipe, and I don't know why. Either way, I'm not the biggest fan of relying on them for conveyor belts because they're annoyingly lengthy to make. Okay. That's all my stuff. There's all my stuff. Mind you, I didn't have this set up properly, so my stuff's stored in the previous base area. Put them here. I'll take some of that. Fuck off. Heh. I think my plates are over here. That should be enough to do what I'm doing. More than enough, really. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Cha-cha, real smooth. Impact damage. Impact damage. Impact damage. Okay. Let's see if we can't get the conveyor belts properly set up. So those are Mark 2s. Wish I had more powerful conveyor belts, but it is what it is. Unless... There's a thought. At this level, it's kind of hard to see, and it's not really a different color. They do kind of get a sort of a slight difference to them, like... These got, like, the little, the stripe along the side, whereas these got the thinner stripe. And there's also, like, a different shape in the, articulating top pieces. But it's more just me remembering where I've placed them. Because all these things only churn out 60 a pop right now. Unless overclocked, and presently I'm not going to do that. It's hard to fit all this stuff here as it is. And also, my power shards are kind of on the, the rarefied side currently. I mean, you can make them look like that. You can paint this shit. Let's see. What's the button for that? There it is. See? I could make them purple. The golden look comes from the Awesome Shop. I don't got that yet. Yep. I'd actually forgotten that one while I was, explaining, but that is genuinely a way of just spotting a thing. Okay, so. Organizer, logistics, and splitter. Not put them in too close. That can do 3. And that can do 3. Because I still got to factor in the piping. Whenever it's homemade, I can do it all over again. What was my plan again? I think it was... probably an overly articulated idea surrounding using splitters and mergers, so I can intersect these 3 together. Or alternatively, 620 and 15, 20, 25, 30. Each of these... Right now. Fuck it. Trying to process the math in my head. So 120 divided by that is 15 a pop. Got 6 over there. These 2 generate 120 combined. So 6 times 15. Oh yeah, okay. I don't need that one for this side here. I probably don't need it for this one over here either. Nah, I do. Because these can carry these, but this one can carry these. Okay. I know what I must do. Murder. No, let's just go with the default because that's looking like it's going to be ugly. Wait, why did I go with Mark IIs for that? Ah. Gratuitous waste when they don't need to be Mark IIs. They're going into a merger and from there, it's Mark IIs. Yeah, sure. Now, that is 120 coming this way. These only need 90, so I can justify a splitter here. Right about here. And a murder or not. Doesn't need to be. Whatever. Splitters are nice. I don't need to be conservative with them. What? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Let's get you connected over here. Merger. Typing this is going to be such a pain in my jolly well ass. Okay. All things have been connected. Needlessly complicated? Yes. Do I care? No, this is satisfactory. think I might never tell in terms of visual distance how much I'll need. Because this only does a max of 20. Means I don't got that much distance to play with, but wish I could put them on top, but I don't have the necessary resources to do that. Gotta start putting stuff into the awesome sink. Go out, stop snapping. Get into position. Why were you willing to do it? There you go. Oh, this do be messy. I forgot about that type of pipe. What? Go. There we go. Yeah, I'll accept it. No, stop. Snap onto it. There we go. Yeah, this game can be mad finicky sometimes. Especially for things like distance and whatnot. Okay, okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's get the pipes connected. Ugh. Max consumption. Max capacity. Okay. Yeah, I figured. Whatever. I gotta hook these up anyways. Give me one more of these fuckers. Looking more like two more. Okay, let's see if we can't get this going. Okay, that's going at a good rate. A good rate. I can see the head lift spiking. I always forget that it's in meters, not feet, which matters because a meter is significantly larger than a fucking foot. These are receiving water. These are receiving coal. These are not holding on to coal, which means that they are at capacity. Ish, for now. But the system will settle out. And if these got water in them, then we can see how it will look when I turn them back on. That is 825 power. Yeah, that was one of the agonizing aspects about... Honestly, I can't even really blame, like... People tend to, like, lump, like, you know, like, criticism onto America for using the Imperial system still, but it's like... I'm sorry. I saw shit like scales and whatnot with the word stones on it when I went to England in 2005, and I doubt they've ditched those since then. You know, there's some forms of measurement that are used regardless of the fact that certain countries have moved to the metric system. Then again, I guess it could be worse. There was that one isekai, oh fuck, what's it called? Handyman Sato in Another World or what have you. Where at one point the main character is measuring the lady knight in their party's like gear. And he's listing it off in centimeters. And she's like, what's a centimeter? And he's like, it's a unit of measurement from the world I'm from. Why? What unit of measurement do you use? And I can't remember what they were called, menkais or something like that. And he's like, how much is that? And she's like, our pixie here, who was like a little bit under a foot in length, is about, one menkai. And then like their party wizard pops out and explains that a menkai was ordained by a great and powerful king in the past, who based it off the length of a schlong. The dude was packing, but also that basically means that everybody is being compared to his dong. Yeah, it's like when that was told to him, the pixie was like, don't look at me! Okay. You are steadily climbing, I believe. What do you mean, no connection? You are connected. Oh. There we go. I mean, it absolutely is. It's basically like, you know, I'm the king now. Meat spins at the general public. This will now be the rubric of measurement. On pain of death. And then like a couple generations like come and go before he dies. And people are just used to it by this point. That's doing fine. Wait, what's that warbling? Oh, consumption. Since I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 machines for 10. Times 45. I could bump that other one down to 120. Or down to 90. That might make that a little bit more efficient. That seems to have made an immediate turnaround. It's still bumping. I'm gonna put that down to 100. Actually, no. No. 110. I'm gonna put one of these down to 110 as well. $110. Now these are reserve power, but these are so remote that I don't care to keep them connected. So these ones, I'm booting off the line. They exist just in case I absolutely damn well need some sort of secondary, Okay. So, still 750 milliwattage after that. It's not that big of an issue. Oh yeah, for now. I say for now because for the basic production, I only need 4 milliwatts just to run either a smelter or a constructor or a miner. But as soon as you get into water extractors, assemblers, it's 15 milliwatt. Let's see. 100 plus 110 plus 120, 120. Okay, yeah. That's about right. Since that's going fine, I'm gonna make a quick double check of the, of the machines. Yeah, you're fine. You're also fine. Damn fine. Perfectly fine. Doing fine and dandy. Perfect. 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 None of these is struggling. That's something that's kind of easy to guess at a glance. Like, if everything's just kind of running along at a fine pace, but everything is supplied without, like, oversupply anywhere, then you're golden. I'm sure one of these is fucking... Are you oversupplied? You're not oversupplied. Okay, you're a little bit over. I've got 10 machines, each consumes about 15 coal. Minus 120. This really only needs about 30, but I'm gonna oversupply by 10. Let's see. From that side, it's... How much was it? I think it's 100 and 120, so... 220. And that should be 230. Since the pipes really can't take more than, like, the Mark 1 restriction at this point. Yeah, it's 220. So they're all supplied. Which means I can safely plug this back into my main grid, which I haven't got the big pylons for yet, which makes me mad sad because those are some of my favorite things to run. Running power all across creation. But I don't got them, so it is what it is. Get the fuck back here. This bullshit in the trees is nonsense. Are they both dead? Where'd he go? Now, where is the general? That's too far. Gotta leave the road lanes open just in case I'm wild and crazy enough to use fucking cars to move shit around. Still not something I ever really quite grasped how to set up. Like, I tried a few times in a previous, like, map. I just couldn't get it to work. But I've definitely heard of people who do that. Because why the hell not? I should have run from the top. Ah! Ow. Whatever. And there we go. These iron rod generators need to have something to pump into. Already got my nail and plates, so that will be reinforced stuff in a bit. But I'm pretty much past my usual stream time, and anime night, or actually no, sci-fi night starts on the Discord soon. I'm gonna raid onto a friend, Riona_. Thank you for tuning in, Kruger80. I hope you have a good rest of your afternoon. And EA, I'll see you probably tuning in for Foundation soon. So, I'm gonna set that raid up. But again, thank you for tuning into my stream. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And I have been Paladin Ashe, and I am signing off.